Joining me is Brad versus Everyone podcast host, Brad Polumbo. Brad, no one trolls better than Donald Trump. Just tell us how we got to this point with Canada being proposed as the 51st state of the United States. And secondly, how much longer can Governor Trudeau survive?
Well, it's hilarious trolling from Trump. This is one of those things. We've got a lot of tension between Canada and the US with Trump coming in because of a lot of economic disputes and over trade policy and different things. And Trudeau actually hit out at Trump recently for his trade policies. So this is just his way of clapping back. And look, if anybody else said this, you'd be like, wow, what a crazy thing to say. But Trump, it's just hilarious. It's just brilliant. Every time I see this, it makes me laugh out loud because it's simultaneously pegs Canada and pegs Trudeau for his self-importance and kind of belittles him in this unserious way. Obviously, we are not going to colonize Canada anytime soon, I don't think, but he's kind of putting Trudeau back in his place and reminding him that his own country has very serious problems and his own political leadership is seemingly built on a house of cards that could collapse at any moment. So maybe don't complain about Trump or throw shade our way because he'll troll you. And that's the thing. I've seen a lot of people outraged about this. How dare Trump say this? And it's like at this point, so many years into his political career, if you're still getting upset over these funny kind of troll things, you just don't get the Trump phenomenon. Like there's things to agree or disagree with him on, but this is so not something to be outraged about. I find it absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I do too. Joe Biden, speaking of hilarious, Brad, has finally broken his silence on those mysterious drones swarming parts of the US. This comes after Trump yesterday called out the lack of information. But Joe Biden, he was on the case today.
Nothing nefarious, apparently, but they're checking it all out. There's a lot of drones authorized up there. I think one started and they all got it. Everybody wanted to get in the deal. But we're following it closely.
Brad, do you think that's going to allay people's fears? I wouldn't take much comfort from anything Biden says, but especially from that.
First off, I'm not sure Biden knows what a drone actually is. I would love to hear him try to explain that. But no, this is incoherent word salad. And honestly, it's just the latest in an ongoing national disgrace that this guy is not up for the job. We've known it for years. He's been on autopilot. Other people have been running our country. And now we have drones flying over U.S. states, scaring people. And the government won't tell us what they are, but also insists they're not a threat. And if you don't know what they are, or at least you refuse to tell us, how do you also know they're not a threat? No, we have a credibility crisis in our government and in our leadership right now in the federal government with the Biden administration. So stuff like this is escalating and people are genuinely terrified, and I don't blame them because they don't trust the government to be honest with them. It lied to us throughout COVID, about inflation, about the border, about so many other things, and they don't trust it to be able to do its job and simply be up to date with threats and actually know what's going on, because we've got a dude who looks like he barely remembers what he had for breakfast, trying to tell us he understands ongoing crises across our country with drones. I'm not buying it, and I think all of us should be ready to see Uncle Joe put out to pasture because he does not belong with the nuclear codes. He belongs enjoying a retirement somewhere, and that was clear many, many years ago at this point.
Brad, really quickly to finish, I've always liked J.D. Vance, but he's just done something to make me like him even more. A New York Times reader wrote to the paper and complained, "My neighbour won't stop praying for me. What should I do?" This neighbour is apparently a sweet friend, a caring person, but very religious and frequently prays for the reader who is an atheist. Well, J.D. Vance offered this advice: accept it as a sweet gesture and stop being a weirdo. Or consider that the woman praying for her neighbours has it more figured out than the person whining to the paper. J.D. Vance just won my vote in 2028. What a brilliant response.
It is brilliant, and honestly, we've just got an epidemic in this country of people who want to be victims. Accept the nice gesture and move on with your day.
Brad Polumbo, always a joy to speak with you. Thanks for your time tonight. Look forward to chatting with you again.